Hey, welcome. It's Domain Dave again from cheapwinefinder.com, and I've got another wine, and I'm kind of like rejuvenated. The wine supply out there has been so stagnant. There wasn't that much new and exciting. Here and there was some, but I was kind of drinking and showing off the wines that I'd kind of avoided in the past. But now we're back to talking about some new and interesting wines. And what we have here is the Originals Syrah 2019 from Washington State. And this one's got a story. I think it's got a story. I don't actually know the whole story since being an orphan wine. It's $5.99 at Trader Joe's, though it didn't used to be a $5.99 wine at Trader Joe's. The Originals was a brand by Charles Smith Wines Cave Vintners, and I think they went together with Precept Wines, the largest independently owned wine company in Washington, and they had, I think it was called Magnificent Wine Company, and I don't think it's around anymore. And this was one of the brands, and they had a bunch of different wines, not just the Syrah, though this is good that it's a Syrah. I'm going to pour myself a little and talk a little. K. Vintners, Charles Smith Wine Company, routinely makes Syrah wines that get 100 points. I mean, year after year after year. They have the best of vineyards. You know, they contract their grapes from different vineyards in Washington State, and they know how to make Syrah wines, and it's kind of something that's kind of different nowadays. I first got into wine back in the days where Australia was doing Shiraz, and that whole thing collapsed in 2008 with the national with all the money crunch, where everything turned upside down. I think the Australian dollar was 80 cents to the dollar compared to American. And after the whole money episode, Australia wasn't hit so hard, and the Australian dollars was now $1.20 to $1. So their $12 wines are now $18, and the whole thing collapsed. Go take a sip. And that was Shiraz, and Shiraz and Syrah are the same thing. Though in Australia it was different. It's hot there, very hot. Even though the vineyards there are near the ocean, the south side of Australia, it's different than California. It's different than Washington State. Different than the Rhone Valley in France, where it came from. So Charles Smith Wine knows how to make a Syrah wine. And I was looking back, and I think in the last 2 years I've done one Syrah wine. It used to be all the rage, and now it's not. It's kind of like Malbec, where everybody needed to drink Malbec, and now it's still, good, a Malbec, but they don't go out looking for as much. Or I think what's going to start happening with Rosé, where Rosé was everywhere, and it's starting to slow down. I think, at least for me, it is. I'm taking another sip, because this is actually really good, and $5.99 on top of the... Back in 2007, I found an article from Wine Spectator that said this was a $22 wine and from a single vineyard. In 2017, they didn't quite give the pricing out, but it was from, the whole line was from a selection of AVAs in Columbia Valley. And, again, they have great contacts there, and Cave Vintners Charles Smith knows how to make Syrah wines. So it was a good thing, and then it just disappeared. I don't know if COVID did it in, or Charles Smith had been starting out value-priced wine brands. They did Kung Fu Girl and those kind of wines, and then they would build it up and sell it off, and then he'd pour the money to another brand and make more wine. And that's kind of how you can make $80, $100, $120 wines nowadays, is by having a value-priced brand that makes all the money, and then you can... that's for fun, the other's for arts, I guess. That's how that works. So this was a wine like that, as late as 2017, was in the $15 to $20 range. And tasting it, I can say that. And I don't know when this was released, because it seems to be an orphan wine, but it's been like 20, if it was harvested in September, October of 2019, 2021, it's been going through the process for 2.5 years of balancing out if that's how it works. So this is a wine that had some extensive production values going for it. And it tasted too. It's got some depth. It's got some smoothness to it too. It's almost got it's a smooth, almost creamy texture to it. And it's got rich, dark berries, licorice, some pepper. Then it's got some raspberry, some plum, a late hit of blueberry. It's got some nectar sweetness to it, but it also has some sour taste and some little bit of rough edge spice to it. So it's just not a fruity, fun wine. This one has some complexity to it. This is my new favorite $5.99 wine. A cheap wine finder, we're always on to the next wine. So I don't really, I don't buy a case of wine ever, because I'm never going to drink it. So I'm always drinking the wine for the website. I'm always talking about a new wine. I'm drinking that one. I don't want to remember what I did. I want to know what's in the future. But I would buy a case of this. I mean, I'm not going to probably, but if I was smart, I would. This is a good wine. This is for $5.99. This is a legitimate $15 to $20 wine. It's got a smoothness to it. It's got the texture. It's got a mid-palate that actually does a nice change where it's smooth to get a little bit of tart in there. Leaves you a little bit of blueberry. Yeah, I can't complain about this wine, and it's $5.99 at Trader Joe's. I think it's an orphan wine, as far as I know. I don't know any of this for sure because I couldn't find a lot. I found some things about the older stuff. I know that who makes it, but there you go. So that's it for me, Domain Dave from cheapwinefinder.com. And like us where you like your podcast. I say that every time. And stay safe, stay healthy, stay cool, because it's getting warm again. And I'll be talking to everybody in a couple of days. Adios, keep it cheap, and bye-bye.